It's Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. A lot to talk about today. Unbelievable what we're watching take place in these markets. The euphoria is absolutely out of control. And watching this massive melt up, we're seeing markets now at all-time highs. We're seeing gold at all-time highs, euphoria at all-time highs. And we, in my humble opinion, are getting very, very close to watching a massive collapse in these markets. I know a lot of people are looking at their accounts, they're looking at the digits on a screen, they're looking, at paper, and they're going, wow, I'm making a lot of money. But how quickly that can all be erased. And when I watch the bubbles getting even bigger, the melt up getting even more extreme, I will tell you, from my personal experience, I feel very, very good that I'm in physical assets, assets that I can get to very, very quickly, assets that are real, assets that I can touch, assets that are never going to be worth zero. And that is gold, that is silver. Let's go through some of the numbers here first, but holding a piece of silver here from SD Bullion, I think that it is so important to be holding gold, to be holding silver, holding precious metals now, because we're going to see such volatility, more euphoria, record highs, but at some point the party is going to be over and we're going to see things get crushed, collapse so quickly and so violently, people are not going to know what hit them. Enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. If you're gambling in these markets, I would be definitely pulling some money off the table here, and I would be putting it into real things like this and being extremely diversified. I'm not telling anybody to empty all their investments, to empty everything they have out of the banks. That's up to you what you want to do. But remember, things come down much quicker than they went up, and it's going to be much more violent on the way down than on the way up. And to think that this is natural, it is not. This is completely artificial. Dow Jones up 401 points today. NASDAQ up 202. Gold, as I make this video, up $35, almost at $2,200. Silver up 64 cents at $25.77. Bitcoin up $3,000 at $67,000. It's an unbelievable journey here, ladies and gentlemen, to watch what is taking place. There's no doubt about it. But if you think that this is going to go on forever, I think you're sadly mistaken. I think that the bigger this melt up goes, the higher these markets go, the harder this collapse is going to be. These markets are going to get crushed at some point. Doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow or next week. But what is this all based on? Why are the markets going up? Is it the booming economy? Is it because everybody has a high-paying job? Is it because of record-breaking GDP? Is it because of all the manufacturing we're doing? No, it's because these markets are hoping that at some point the Fed is going to cut rates, which they did not do today. I didn't think they would. Most of you didn't think that they would cut today either. But today, I'm just going to go over some of the things that Jerome Powell said at his meeting. And I want you to remember this. This is from CNBC. Dow rises 400 points to record close after Fed says 3 rate cuts are on the way. Markets turned. Markets, turned it up once Jerome Powell said that. But remember, it wasn't that long ago when they were telling us that we would see 6, maybe 7 rate cuts. And now it's 3, maybe 2, they're saying. Yet inflation keeps going up. How will they cut even 2 times with inflation going up? And some of the things that Jerome Powell said, and he's wishy-washy, of course, but he said this today, and I'm going to paraphrase through this. Inflation is too high. He says path forward is uncertain. Labor market remains tight. Longer-term inflation remains unanchored. Labor market still exceeds supply. Policy rate likely at its peak. Prepared to keep rates higher for longer if needed. Need greater confidence inflation moving down substantially before cutting rates. Inflation is still too high. Economy performing well. I don't see how the economy is performing well, but again, they are data driven. They're going to look at the data, and if you just look at the data, everything looks great. We're strongly committed to bringing inflation down to 2% over time. It ain't going to be 2% at the end of this year, that's for sure. If there is a significant weakening in the labor market, that would be reason to cut. So that's very interesting. And are we going to see these layoffs begin to add up? Or are the numbers going to be continue to be manipulated? That is the question. The Fed did say a lot of hawkish things here, in my opinion. But we got a dovish shot of adrenaline here, ladies and gentlemen. And as soon as they said that we're going to see 3 cuts potentially this year, market just ate it up, and that was the shot of adrenaline it needed. No doubt when you watch, and I watched about probably 75% of the meeting, but he's not talking down the markets. He seems to me to, 1 minute be a little hawkish, then a little dovish, but he's not talking down the markets. In fact, to me, it's almost like putting gasoline on a fire. Gold hit another record high today. Important to be buying this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It's so important. And, we talk about owning real things. Silver, gold, security. If you need to be buying some precious metals, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. Fantastic company. Give them a call. Go to the link. They'll help you out with any questions. I've been dealing with them for 6.5 years now, and I know, oh my gosh, somebody's going to say, oh my gosh, is this an SD Bullion commercial? No. I just think that everybody should own some real assets. And if you want to buy it from somewhere else, buy it wherever your heart desires. Buy it from whoever you want to buy it from. Just make sure it's a reputable dealer. But to the people out there who don't know where to buy from or how to buy, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. I have spent a lot of money, my own money, spending money at SD Bullion to buy gold and silver, taking monopoly money and turning it into real money. I've been carrying this part of my EDC daily. This is from TCal Knives. This is the Night Stalker, a fantastic blade. I'm not sure if that's focusing, but anybody interested in a great blade, TCal Knives, Tim makes some of the best knives on planet Earth. And I was just at their website the other day. They don't pay me a dime, but I was at their website the other day. They're taking orders. They may be sold out already, but go to TCal Knives, check it out if you're looking for a great knife. If you are looking for a blade like the Night Stalker, I carry this thing daily next to my G17. Part of the EDC, I think it's important to have a good blade. And for some people who can't carry, if they can't carry whatever state you might be in, or legal issues or whatever it may be, and you can't carry, then maybe you can carry a blade. This is better than nothing. But when you have the ability to carry a firearm and a blade, I think it's a great combination. If you have good defensive skills, wrestling skills, boxing skills, a blade, and a nice firearm, you are covering all bases, and you should be carrying daily. But these are real assets. Ladies and gentlemen, these are real assets, things that will never be worth zero. That blade from TCal Knives will be here long after I'm gone. It will last literally forever. It will always have value. It will always be an asset. Could save your life. If you have to break out a window to get into a building or out of a car, or cut a seatbelt in an accident, you'll be glad you had a tool like that. And if you ever have to defend yourself, you'll be glad you have a tool like that. And of course, gold, silver, it's going to be here long after we're gone. It's mentioned in the Bible, the streets of gold. God mentions it multiple times in the Bible. These are things, just like food and water and training, that we've got to be acquiring while we can. The Fed has not touched interest rates since July, but they're still moving. What that looks like for credit cards, mortgages, and savings accounts. Well, this is great news, right? So if they cut rates, and think about it, if they cut rates, what's it going to be? 2 or 3 rate cuts, 25 basis points, and those rates won't even take effect for 12 to 18 months. What is 50 basis points or 75 basis points going to do by next year? Absolutely nothing. But, credit card interest rates could go down to about 20% from the 22, 23% that they're at right now. Mortgage rates will probably go down to about 6.5% to 7%. Auto loans probably be sitting at 6.5%. Your savings rate will go down. Of course, the savers will be punished. People who need to borrow will be rewarded a little bit, but not much. These rate cuts are not going to do really anything. It's not going to change anybody's life, that's for sure. But remember this, if they cut rates, the prices of mostly everything, houses, cars, food, you name it, going to go up. So you might pay a little bit more, or you might pay a little bit less in interest, but you're going to be paying more for the house and the cars. Weekly mortgage demand drops as interest rates rise again, but Fed announcement will make key for spring market. 30-year fixed mortgage rate right now, 6.97%. That's if you have really, really good credit and a down payment. Most people probably paying about 7.5%. Applications for a mortgage to purchase a home fell 1% for the week, 14% lower than they were a year ago. Think about that. So mortgage applications are 14% lower today than they were a year ago. You are watching a real estate collapse take place right now. The market is literally frozen. I was talking to my friend today at the gym, and he's got some rental properties in Florida, and he was telling me a house that he just put on the market. I think he's asking $2,900 a month. Very, very nice house. Cheapest rental in the area for what he's offering. Really nice house. He said that he's getting no offers, no calls on the house. The only thing he's gotten was a group of people, 4 people. He said 4 people would rent the house. He would have to rent the house to 4 separate people, a group of 4 people, in order to get the house rented right now. He said people just, their credit's horrible. A lot of people with sub 600 credit. The credit apps that he has had, people are not making enough income to pay the rent, so he's got nothing, and the house is just sitting. So that's in Florida. So things are no doubt changing, and we talked about this a while ago. People's credit scores are slipping, and when you don't have good credit, you're not going to be able to rent. You're not going to be able to buy a car. You're not going to be able to get a credit card. So this is going to be a big problem. And here's a personal friend of mine, a business owner, who's now experiencing people who have filled out credit apps who just either don't have enough income or their credit's shot. Only 30% of New Yorkers are happy with the city's quality of life. 50% plan on leaving within 5 years. This on the Hedge today. Startling, isn't it? But it's not shocking. Who would even want to stay in New York at this point? In fact, you could be arrested if you misprice a property in New York. So New York hates business owners. They hate wealthy people. And of course, those business owners and those wealthy people are going to take their companies and they're going to move, and they're going to take employees who pay taxes. How about the taxes that these business owners pay on those commercial properties? That tax base is gone. The workers will leave. They're going to go to wherever. They're going to go to Texas. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to go with those businesses, and they will pay the tax bases of those states. New York will have nothing. New York will be left to the criminals. New York will be left to the newcomers. New York will just be a third world nation. It'll be a third world city, which it pretty much is becoming right now. And it really, really is sad to see this. The nightmare that is taking place in New York, and people have absolutely had it. So people are voting with their wallets, and they're going to be voting where they live. People are going to get out of these cities. They're going to get out of these states, and they're going to go where they feel that they are not going to be tax slaves, where they have opportunity or better opportunity, where they can be a little bit more free. That's where they're going. They're going to vote with their taxes. They're going to vote with their wallets. They're going to vote with where they buy a house. CNBC, the salary of a single person needs to live comfortably in 25 major cities. I'm not going to go over all of them, but they give you the 50-30-20 rule. 50% housing and utility costs, 30% going to discretionary spending, and 20% to necessities. Check this out. If you're single, you live in New York City, you need to make $138,000 a year to be comfortable. San Jose, you need to make $136,000. I'm rounding these off. Irvine, California, you need to make $126,000 to live in Irvine, California, just to be comfortable. Santa Ana, California, $126,000. Boston, $124,000. San Diego, $122,000. Chula Vista, California, $122,000. San Francisco, $119,000. Seattle, $119,000. Anaheim, California, $110,000. Riverside, the county I'm in right now, $109,000 just to be comfortable. And the list goes on. Many, many other states on the list. But this is unsustainable. This is completely unsustainable. And this is why people now are driving around with no insurance. People have no health insurance. People are falling behind on the credit cards. People are falling behind on rent. People are just falling behind. People are skipping meals. People are taking on side hustles just to survive. This is where it's all going. This is, again, 110% unsustainable. Just to be comfortable, you've got to make over $100,000 a year. This is not household. This is for an individual. It's absolutely shocking. Shifting gears here a little bit, this article I was reading this morning from CNBC, FDA says safety issues with China-made syringes are more widespread than previously known. This is scary. Needles breaking off in vials. Foreign matter have been found in some syringes. Some syringes were cracked. Some caused inaccurate measurements. Let me ask all of you, many of you are much smarter than myself, why in the world are we buying syringes from China and not making them right here in the United States of America? Can we not even make a needle here in America at this point? We're so dependent on pharmaceuticals. 90% of our pharmaceuticals are coming out of China and Asia, and now we're buying needles. We can't even make a needle here in America. What does it come to? We are really jeopardizing our safety with relying so much on China for literally everything. Pharmaceuticals to needles, to pet food, to everything at a Walmart, to literally every shoe on the rack, to every piece of clothing on the rack. Everything is coming from China. Don't forget, they make and produce all this aluminum and concrete and steel, and yet we're being told that, oh my goodness, China's going to collapse. That's too bad. Take a look at the condition of America before we start worrying about China and other world leaders and their condition. We need to worry about the condition of our leaders, the condition of our own economy, and how much debt, how big the deficits are, the interest on the debt. We are a complete mess, ladies and gentlemen. We are a bankrupt nation. I think that one thing we can all do today, everybody goes, what can we do? What can we do to fix this? So there's nothing we can do about it. Well, one thing we all need to do is admit that things are broken. We have to admit that there's a major problem. We have to admit that we are bankrupt. And I think the more we admit how broken things are, the more we'll take action in our personal lives to prepare for what is coming. Now, I want to end with this last article. This was an incredible video. Bentley driver fights off trio of would-be carjackers outside New Jersey supermarket in dramatic video. I watched this video Friday. This happened Friday in New Jersey. 3 masked men run up to this orange Bentley. They try to pull the driver out of this vehicle. And they are punching him. They are trying to pull him out. They are assaulting this gentleman in his orange Bentley. He gets out. He had the key fob, and so he got out. He ran back to the store. It was a family store. He got in there, locked the doors, called the police. They could not get the vehicle turned out because he had the key fob, and so this could have been really, really bad. And I just, again, I reiterate daily that you've got to be paying attention. You've got to be using situational awareness, exercising situational awareness. Another word of advice today: admit that things are broken. Use and exercise situational awareness. More advice: make sure you can take care of yourself, that you have defensive skills, jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, whatever it might be. All of it, whatever. Get to the range, be training. You've got to have some type of skills. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but it could save your life. Doesn't mean that you're the baddest person on the planet, but it buys you time. It allows you maybe enough distance to get away, to get to your house, to get into the car, to drive away, to get to the phone, whatever it might be, or just to win. Having no skills whatsoever is a terrible strategy. It's great to be in good physical shape. It's even better when you're in shape and you have a skill set. Being proficient at the range, being proficient on the mat, on the ground, being proficient with your hands, very, very important. Make sure to go to my video a couple days ago. I was with Coach Lionel, and we were talking about this a couple days ago. Go to my video, and we're talking about the importance of why your kids should be training, why you should be training, why you need to be adding these skills. And, even if you have to sacrifice something out of your life to pay for it, do it. It's going to be the best money you ever spent. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, share these videos. A lot of people have been unsubscribed, so make sure that you subscribe and check to see if you've been unsubscribed. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way you will be alerted when the newest videos drop. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. God bless every one of you. Pray for this country. We are in big trouble. It's going to get more chaotic as the year goes. And it'll be interesting, even though the markets are just a joke, it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, because typically what happens when we have one of these Fed meetings, what'll happen is it either goes way up or way down, but the next day it does a 180. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a pullback in the metals, if we see a pullback in the market, who knows? But what we do know is the economy is collapsing more and more every day. More people are losing jobs, more businesses shutting down, more vacant real estate. We're making less and less in this country. Opportunity is shrinking, and we are in big trouble. So take action, at least for yourself. There's nothing we can do to stop what's happening, but we can do a little something to protect ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Sitting on the couch is a bad strategy. God bless.